You booked the flight. It looked like a great deal. $49.99 from London to Barcelona. A bargain, right? But then it starts. The price creeps up before you even board the plane. Want to choose a seat? That's 12 dinars. Need a carry-on that actually fits more than a laptop? Another 25 dinars. Hungry? That'll be $7 for a sandwich that looks like it came from a vending machine. And suddenly, your cheap flight isn't cheap anymore. This isn't an accident, it's the model. Airlines have perfected the art of the low base fare, just enough to show up first on comparison sites, but then hit you with fees that feel small individually but stack up fast. It's called unbundling, and it's not just clever marketing. It's a multi-billion-dollar strategy. In 2023 alone, global airlines made over $120 billion in ancillary revenue, most of it from these hidden fees. That's not from ticket sales. That's from baggage charges, seat upgrades, in-flight meals, change fees, Wi-Fi, early boarding, and even printing a boarding pass at the airport. And it works because most travelers are trapped in the psychology of the base fare. Once they see that $49.99 price tag, it becomes the anchor. So when they're asked to pay $10 more here, $20 more there, they justify it. Well, at least the flight itself was cheap. But here's the kicker, the airlines count on that. They don't just hope you'll add extras. They design the experience to make sure you do. From confusing baggage policies to seating algorithms that split families unless you pay, the system is built to push you toward spending more. So the next time you ask, how are airlines still making money with tickets this cheap? Remember, they're not selling flights. They're selling fees. And you've already started paying before your suitcase hits the scale. It didn't used to be this way. A flight ticket once meant exactly what it sounded like. A full journey with a seat, a meal, a suitcase, and a smile. But as competition grew and profits shrank, airlines realized something crucial. It's not about flying you from point A to B anymore. It's about how much they can charge between takeoff and landing. So they broke the ticket into pieces. Want to bring a bag? That's a piece. Want to pick your seat? Another piece. Want to board early, sit with your family, or just avoid the dreaded middle seat between two strangers? You guessed it. More pieces. What used to be standard became premium. And what used to be included is now labeled optional, even though for most travelers it's anything but. But here's the genius. Airlines don't just charge you for convenience. They use design tricks to make you feel like you have to pay. For example, split seating. Ever notice how your group is scattered unless you pay to sit together? That's not bad luck. That's an algorithm doing its job. Bag dimensions. Airlines subtly shrink allowed dimensions for free bags, making sure most modern backpacks no longer qualify. Dynamic fees. Some airlines adjust baggage prices based on time of day or demand, just like ticket prices. And let's not forget change fees, cancellation penalties, and onboard Wi-Fi that barely works but still costs as much as a decent meal. It's not just about making flying cheaper, it's about making appearing cheap profitable. By the time the average traveler finishes booking, they've paid 30–60% more than the base fare, but they feel like they got a deal, because that's what they were shown first. The illusion of savings is the product, and the hidden fees, they're the real business model. Most passengers assume airlines are nickel and diming them out of desperation. But the truth is far more calculated. These fees aren't just extra income, they're a core revenue engine. In fact, some budget carriers make more money from fees than from ticket sales themselves. Take Ryanair and Spirit Airlines, two of the biggest names in low-cost travel. In recent financial disclosures, they reported that over 40% of their total revenue comes from ancillary fees. That's not an accident. That's the business plan. These airlines offer the illusion of affordability to lure you in, then strategically layer charges in ways that seem minor but scale massively. Multiply a $20 bag fee by 100 passengers by 4 flights a day, across hundreds of routes, and you're looking at millions per week in add-ons. Even traditional carriers like American Airlines, Delta, and Lufthansa have jumped on board. The model is simply too profitable to ignore. And now, even premium airlines are unbundling services, because once passengers are conditioned to accept it, it becomes the new normal. But here's where it gets darker. Many airlines use this structure to manipulate behavior. Want to avoid paying for a bag? Now you'll overpack your carry-on, causing slower boarding and stress. Want to avoid seat fees? Now you're split from your child or partner unless you pay. Want to change your flight? The fee might be as high as a new ticket altogether. These pain points aren't glitches. They're intended friction. Airlines aren't just optimizing revenue. They're designing psychological traps, creating discomfort that can only be solved with your wallet. And most passengers, fatigued by complexity and fine print, just surrender. They click Add. They pay. And the machine keeps turning. Because at this point, you're not just a traveler. You're a revenue stream, sliced, segmented, and packaged for profit. So, what can you do? How do you fight back when the system is designed to drain you one tap at a time? First, know the game. Airlines are banking on your confusion, your urgency, and your assumption that the ticket price tells the full story. It doesn't. Always read the fine print. Check the baggage policy before you pack. Know exactly what's included before you click Book. Second, resist the upsell. You don't need early boarding if you have a seat. You don't need Wi-Fi for a 1-hour flight. You don't need to panic when the website warns you, only 3 seats left at this price. It's pressure marketing, not a fact. Third, travel smarter. Pack lighter. Use airlines that show full pricing up front. Fly with carriers that offer transparency. Even if the ticket seems slightly higher, it may actually save you more in the end. But most importantly, start seeing flying for what it has become. Not a luxury, not even a service, but a funnel. A carefully constructed path where your frustration becomes their payday. And the worst part? We've normalized it. We no longer expect fair pricing. We expect tricks. We click faster, complain louder, but we still pay. Because the system has trained us to see inconvenience as inevitable and comfort as a premium only money can buy. That's the real strategy. Not just to charge you more, but to make you feel like you chose it. So the next time you're offered a cheap flight, stop and think. Not about the price on the screen, but about what it's going to cost you after. Because in modern air travel, the seat is never the product. You are. And as long as that's true, the fees won't stop. They'll just get smarter.